Illinois 79, Northwestern 68. Welcome back to Talk Illini, brought to you by the Orange and Blue News and the On3 Network. Today we talk about a game that Illinois basketball absolutely needed. Illinois goes into Evanston, a place building that's been like a horror movie over the last couple of years, and walks out with a 79-68 victory, a season high sixth straight victory, and finally get the can't win here demon off their backs. And if you're just looking at the score or the box score, you think it was a solid win, maybe even a comfortable win. But if you watch the game, you know that this was one of those games where Northwestern kept trying to dirty it up and drag Illinois into the mud, but Illinois just kept responding like a team full of grown-ups. And speaking of, tonight starts with 3 words. Welcome back, Tomislav. Because that was the version of Tomislav Ivisic that people have been talking about and waiting for all season long. We're not talking about a nice game. We're not just talking about hit a couple nice shots. Tomislav was a big reason, if not the reason, that Illinois escaped Evanston with a victory today. He scored 21 points, and the key detail, he had 14 of those in the second half. And he hit 2 massive three-pointers really late in the game when at the time the building full of Northwestern fans and 50-50 Illini fans still had life. And that ultimately ties into the theme that has to hit hard. This team is versatile. It's well balanced. And this team, more than anything else, is businesslike. On any given night, you know that next to Keaton Wagler, it can be anybody who steps up and becomes that second star. Tonight's night, well, that belonged to Tomislav. And that's why, to me, this Illinois team feels a little different. As I mentioned, Illinois with the 79-68 victory. Keaton goes for 22. And again, like clockwork, he scores 20 points in that second half. Tomislav gives you 21 and 7, and down the stretch, he scored 11 of the Illini's last 17 points of the game, in the last 8 minutes too, I believe. Colin Boswell also contributed with 13 points and 6 assists, steady veteran stuff, and Brad Underwood gave him all the praise in the post-game press conference, which I just got done watching. In Northwestern, Jaden Reed came off the bench for the first time this season and dropped a career-high 28 points, including he matched Keaton Wagler in that second half with 20 points. Nick Martinelli, the Wildcats superstar and the nation's leading scorer at over 24 a game, finished with 20 today. So, I mean, give Northwestern credit. The Wildcats fought. But here's the difference. Illinois controlled the game. Northwestern had its moments, but Illinois, for the most part, had control. And that is what teams, let me rephrase that, that's what good teams need to do on the road. The first half was fascinating because Illinois did not shoot well from deep early. In fact, at halftime, Illinois was 4 for 18 from 3. Talk about ugly. That's the kind of stat line that in past years would have Illinois down 5 at the break, and all of us just shaking our heads, wondering, oh no, here we go again. But instead, today, what makes this team different, or at least feel different, Illinois still led 38-33 at halftime. Why? Because missed threes didn't turn into panic basketball. Illinois never lost its identity. They won the paint. They won the glass. And ultimately, they always stayed composed. And that's how it becomes clear to me that this team is just different. This team is just a little more serious, because plan A doesn't have to work for the Illini to control a basketball game. Ugly stretches can still be won. The mental game can still be won. And the opening stretch, that showed immediately. Illinois starts the game, they're up 6-0. Northwestern shrugs it off, goes on a run of their own, and suddenly it turns into a little scrap. The first half featured 8 lead changes. And so, again, we're not talking as if this was some sort of walk in the park. But even in that back and forth, Illinois had the quiet edge because Northwestern's offense was being created through tough shot making while the Illini was generating offense through their offensive structure. And here's another thing I wanted to point out. Martinelli didn't even get his second shot attempt until 4 minutes and 41 seconds left in that first half. That means that Illinois came in with a game plan of which, let's be honest, it doesn't take a brilliant head coach to figure out, to take Northwestern's best player out of the game. And what it means is Illinois was effective in that game plan and that they were doing a great job early making life uncomfortable for a guy who comes into every game expecting to score over 25 a game. Late in that first half, Northwestern did end up taking a brief lead. I believe it was Trey Singleton who got a pullback, and the Wildcats went up 27-25. And then what happens? Well, Illinois responds with one of those runs that are almost symbolic of this basketball team. Stojakovic had a driving layup. Tomislav hit a three. And Mirkovic, well, he hit a banked three. Boom. Timeout, Northwestern. And that right there is classic Brad Underwood. The ability to hit an opponent with quick bursts where you almost feel worried that the game is slipping. And then suddenly it flips again. Illinois goes into halftime up 5. And again, I can't emphasize this enough. Illinois was 4 of 18 from 3 and still leading on the road at a place in recent memory you've really struggled in. And to me, that's a really positive sign. And then the second half started, and you kind of saw the part of the game where Illinois just kind of established themselves as the better team. The first 5 possessions out of halftime, well, Illinois scored on all 5. Talk about insane efficiency, and Northwestern maybe at that point started to look rattled. Illinois hit back-to-back threes by Wagler and Ivisic early, and that forced an early Northwestern timeout. Illinois goes up 50-40, and that's when the thoughts start coming in. All right, this is about to turn into a separation. Maybe finally this team can blow out the Wildcats in Evanston. Now, the reason the final score isn't 20 or 25 plus points is because Jaden Reed, all credit to him, basically said, I'm not going to let the Illini do this tonight. He hit free throws, a wide open 3, and then he was hitting step back mid-ranges. And suddenly, Northwestern cuts it to 53-47 with 13 minutes and 28 seconds left. Then, well, Illinois answers again. Jake Davis hits a corner 3 as the shot clock's expiring. Then Wagler goes to work, drives for a 3-point play, then hits a 3 from the top. And Illinois balloons it back up to 64-47, the biggest lead of the night. And that's when you would think, finally, Northwestern is cooked. But then chaos happens. And that's where you see Reed go kind of nuclear. He made a baseline jumper. He swipes the ball from Wagler. And then at that point, the game kind of got chippy. He drew a flagrant 1 on a hook and hold on Keaton. I believe that's his second hook and hold in as many games. Reed then nailed a corner 3, and Illinois gets tagged with a bench technical. Brad Underwood after the game said it was on Orlando Antigua. I think they all thought that this was a goaltend on that end. And then Reed drives and dishes for a dunk for another easy Northwestern basket. And all that turns into Northwestern pulling within 62-57. That sequence was Northwestern trying to manufacture energy, emotion, and momentum. And for a second, it worked. And Illini fans know that's the exact moments where things in the past could fall apart, where the crowd gets loud, where the other team gets belief, where our team loses it, where the refs are involved, and where rhythm gets weird. But that's where this team just seems to be different, because the Illini didn't melt. The Illini didn't spiral. Illinois didn't start rushing shots and start playing hero ball. Instead, Tomislav Ivisic shut the door. And this is why tonight was the Tommy game. Because even though Northwestern was hanging around, Tomislav hit back-to-back threes from the same exact spot on the left wing. Boom, boom. Illinois suddenly up 75-65 with about 2 minutes left. But at that point, you almost felt like maybe that was game. Welcome back, Tomislav. Because if Tomislav becomes a guy who's a key contributor and can be relied upon again like he was last year, well, then all of a sudden, Illinois becomes a whole different level of scary. And here's what's exciting. Wagler is the star. That's obvious now. But Illinois can win with Boswell being the steady vet, Tomislav being a closer, Merkovich doing the dirty work, Jake Davis hitting those Jake Davis corner threes, Stojakovic putting his head down and attacking downhill, and Zvonimir providing rim protection and rebounding when needed. And all of those guys could blow up on the offensive end as well. And that's what great teams have. It's not just one guy. Maybe it's not even just two guys. There's no one-trick pony here. Illinois can win in multiple ways. And that's why something that might sound crazy is starting to feel real. This very well could be the best team of the Brad Underwood era. Not because it has the most hype. It didn't. But because it might have the most balance. And at least to me, it seems like it's got the most maturity. And this is the last thing I'll say before I wrap up. Illinois isn't playing emotionally right now. Illinois isn't playing like they have something to prove every single night. Illinois is playing like winning is expected. Go up early, Northwestern responds, fine. Counter response coming. Chaos hits the game, that's fine. Settle it down. A run happens, that's okay. Punch back. And that's what good teams do, especially on the road. And just remember, Illinois has now won 4 straight Big Ten road games to open the conference play. You know how hard it is to win 4 straight games on the road in the Big Ten Conference? Well, that's what they just did. 6 straight wins overall, a win in Evanston for the first time in years, and Wagler did what he always does in the second half. Boswell stayed steady, and Tomislav, well, Tommy reminded everybody what the ceiling looks like when his confidence and his aggression show up. And if Illinois keeps getting this version of Tomislav moving forward, I'm telling you, this team is not just good. This team is dangerous. Let me know your thoughts on this game and much more. And make sure you're subscribed to the channel. Myself, JR, and Carson, we're going to have a lot more basketball content for you. We'll be here Saturday immediately after the game as well. But also, there's a lot of transfer portal to talk about. It hasn't been exactly the best week for the Illini football team. But at least during the game, they did have a kicker commit to the team. And it's a familiar face that you might recognize. We'll talk about that and a lot more. Make sure you hit the like button on this video. Make sure you hit the subscribe button and share this with all of your Illini friends. Just remember, right now, Orange and Blue News through the On3 Network have a special going on through the month of January. Carson and Doug do a fantastic job. If you're an Illini fan, there's no reason you should not take advantage of this offer. Until next time, ILL, another Illini victory. Love it.